On October 2nd, 2012, this is Pull In You number 79, Extra Hands number 3. Greeting bridge friends, Michael here at Bridge Hands, and welcome you to episode number 79. We will take a look more on strong jump shifts. And as you recall, when we have a strong jump shift with 19 to 21 points, playing points, we'll get into strong jump shift as it relates to suit quality, losing trick count, cover cards, and self-sustaining suits. You recall those. We'll certainly see a lot of those today again. And when our partner has 5, 6 points or more, we're going to be in game. On a good day where a partner has an opening hand, 12, 13 points or more, we have our 19 to 21, we're probably going to be in slam. Hopefully we've got a fit, or we have some other ideas on how to get extra tricks. And what are those? Well, typically we take a look at finessing, not necessarily our first opportunity, but we look at promotions and roughs to get extra. Sometimes we do both. Strong jump shifts is often the case. Promotions and roughs. Certainly we'll see that today. Well, the odds, we've spoke about at some length before, and certainly it's going to come into play today. And there are two types. We haven't spoke about the two types of odds. One is a priori, the other is posteriori. It's not important what those mean. The important thing is we know that sometimes odds are dependent upon what happened before, and sometimes they're independent. If I flipped a coin, it's a 50-50 chance, it's heads or tails. In this case, how about this card here? It's a 50% chance. If I give it a spin, it'll be on this side, the back, and a 50% chance that it will be on the card's face. I'll give it 2 spins. Let's see if you can get it right one or both times. Are you ready? Okay, well, it might be in between. If it gets something like this, then we'll say what part of it is facing me. If it's really close, I better cover it or it'll certainly come up. Okay, you ready for the first spin? Here we go. Well, it looks like it's mostly towards the card's face. Okay, I don't know, did you get that one right? 50-50 chance. Let's try it again. Well, the odds change. Definitely the card's back. Once the face, once the back. The odds was independent the second time. Now, if I ask you before, what would it be? Well, you get it right one of the two, half of the time. 25% that you get it right both of the time. And of course you can get it wrong both of the time, another 25% chance. When we have a 13 cards in a suit, and we have most of the cards, well, we've spoken about that. Let's say we have a 5-3 fit or a 6-2. We've got 8 cards. The opponents are 3-2, 4-1, or 5-0. Hopefully not too often. But we always want to be prepared for that in case it's a rainy day. It's about a 2/3 chance it's going to be a 3-2, 68%, and about a 28%, about 1 in 4, that's going to be 4-1. Well, how about a situation like this, when we have a nice strong jump shift and we open with our spade suit and we have a hand like that. Ace, Queen, Jack, 10, 9. Gorgeous, only missing one of the honors. We've got the 9 to go with it. We could do a finesse, but if another suit ends up to be trump, well, if they have a side suit ace, it's just a 50-50 chance that we're going to make it, right? Because they're going to get their outside ace ostensibly, and it's dependent upon the finesse. And oh, by the way, our partner's got a singleton. So if we have 6 cards in a suit, the opponents have 7. And what does that look like? Well, if they've got something like this between them, it could be 4-3, it could be 5-2 or something else. Most of the time it won't be. But about 62% of the time, for what it's worth, it's going to be 4-3. It could be king third or king fourth. Okay, if it's going to be a 5-2 suit, then how often do you think it's going to be where the king is with the doubleton? Not that often, right? It's mostly going to be where it's going to be with the longer suit, unless you heard them double or the way the lead or something like that went. So that'll be something we'll take a look into consideration of how we play the hand today. When we promote a side suit, hard to believe with a hand like that, but if our partner's got a singleton, it's a side suit. Then we have the situation where we have maybe a trump suit such as clubs. And we have 10, let's say 5 and 5. And the opponents then have 3. In one of our scenarios today, they'll be having, unfortunately, 2 of the top 3 honors. Most of it won't happen, thank goodness. But when it does, how does that affect it? Well, it could be 3-0 or 2-1, which happens about 70, about 3 and 4 times. So if it is a situation, how often is it going to be where it's a small singleton in one hand and too big in the other hand? 1 in 3, right? Okay. Now, if a card has been played in the suit, then the odds are going to be changing, aren't they? So that's something to consider. And if the opponent doubles, who do you think has all 3 of them, perhaps? Other things to consider. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and begin heading for the table and play some hands. So in our first hand, South is the dealer and has a wonderful 5-5-2-1 with pretty much a black hand here. In clubs, Ace Jack 8-7-6, that's 5 high. In hearts, King Doubleton, another 3 is 8. In spades, Ace, Queen, Jack 9, 7 spot. There's another 6, 15, and a singleton stiff Ace of Diamonds 19, plus some distribution points, 1 for each of the 5-card black suits up to 21. Do you want to open at 2 clubs? 1 spade. What's your pleasure here? Well, let's take a look at our suit quality. Remember, we talked about the self-sustaining suits or semi-self-sustaining in spades. Ace, Queen, Jack 9, 7 spot. That's 3 honors, 5 long, suit quality 8. Not quite the 9 we want for a semi-self-sustaining suit. So we could hopefully get 4 tricks out of 5, but we need some entries to our partner's hand. And you can see we'll need entries in clubs, we will need an entry in hearts. So this is not the time to start counting losing trick count. We don't have a fit with our partner yet. But with 21 points, we're certainly going to open at 1 spade. And if we hear anything from our partner, we're going to go to game. So 1 spade it is. Over to the west hand, it's a 5-4-4 with a void. So in diamonds, King, Queen, 10, 9, 5 times. In spades, King, 10, 4 times. In hearts, Ace, Jack, 10, 4 times. Nice hand, isn't it? Certainly has opening values, and yet we have 4 spades to the King, 10. Well, we're not going to do a takeout double. Our partner might bid clubs. We're certainly not going to want to see that happen. We might want to consider 2 diamonds would not be a bad bid here, I don't think, with a void and with the Ace 10 behind the opener. This West, though, decides to pass. Okay, over to the north hand. It's another 5-5-2-1. How about that? This time the honors aren't quite so hot, though. 5-5 in the minors. In clubs, King, Queen 5 times, Queen Doubleton in hearts, Singleton 2 in partner spade suit, rats, and in spades, Jack 5 times. So a lot of quackers here, secondary honors, isn't it? But there is touching honors in clubs. That's 5, and 1 distribution is 6. In hearts, could be worth 2 for Queen Doubleton. That brings us up to 8. And in diamonds, Jack 5 times, I don't know, unless you can get to this hand several times or partner's got some good juicy honors. So as much as we don't like to bid 1 no trump, we don't have enough points to go to a 2 club bid, do we? We'll see what happens. 1 no trump it is. Okay, over to the east hand. It is a 5-3-3-2, and not many honors there. The 10 is the only honor. Definitely a pass. Okay, back to our partner then in the south. And what do we want to rebid now? We've opened 1 spade. Our partner's bid 1 no trump. Cannot help us in the spade suit, apparently. I guess we'll go ahead and rebid 3 clubs, won't we? A strong jump shift. We're not going to bid 2 clubs. That would be 12 to 18 points. And although we don't have this semi-self-sustaining suit or better in spades, our partner's got 6 points or more, so we should be able to get some finesse action, perhaps in clubs. So we're going to rebid 3 clubs. Okay, a pass by West says figures. I've got avoiding clubs. And back then to the north hand. Well, hey, how about that? South would have 4 or 5 clubs, apparently, to do a strong jump shift and have something other than a balanced hand. So we like that a lot, don't we? With our hand now, we've got a different hand evaluation. We call this elastic evaluation. We evaluate the hand differently as the auction goes on. So we have our 5 points plus 1 distribution in clubs is 6. Queen doubleton, I guess I'll give it full value if our partner's making strong jump shifts. So yes. And then with the singleton spade, do you want to give 3 more points? It's kind of an issue, isn't it? Because here, that is our partner suit. We wish it was a side card suit. So we're not going to want to sign off in 3 no trump. I don't think bidding 3 diamonds is profitable because it just shows very little. We don't have any control in that suit. So no reason to bid that suit. Our partner's got a black hand in the south. So 4 clubs seems to be the bid, doesn't it? Now in another lesson earlier when we spoke about slam bidding, we talked about minor wood. In this situation, a lot of players would play advanced methods. They would say rebidding past the 3 no trump level is the equivalent of an ace ask. If traditional methods, you would have to use a 4 no trump blackwood, and if your partner answered with more than 1 ace, got past the club level, well, you can see what happens. You'd be in a slam contract anyway, wouldn't you? So yeah, 4 clubs, if you're playing that as blackwood, it would be ace asking as a minor wood. Otherwise, it's just saying, partner, I don't want to play in 3 no trump. Where do you want to go from here? Okay, so after 4 clubs, it's a pass over to south hand. If it happened to be an ace asking sequence, we would say we would have 1, 2, 3 aces. Normally it's the stronger hand asks the weaker, but in this auction it gets a little bit askewed because we're bidding the secondary suit, aren't we? So the third step would be what? 0 for diamonds, right? Don't forget that first step. Hearts, spades, and then we go to the 4th, which is no trump. So the response would be 4 no trump if you're playing minor wood. If you're not playing minor wood, you'll probably think about just Q-bidding a control, something else. Hopefully your partner would see it's forcing. But at any rate, we're going to go ahead and play it in 6 clubs. Okay? And over to the play of the hand, we have West on lead. Well, we're not going to want to lead away from the ace, jack 10 of hearts. We don't want to lead away from the king, spade 4 times of opponent righty's spade suit. So that leaves the safe lead of a diamond from king, queen 10, always going to be the king. Okay, and the lead of the king of diamonds, a low from the dummy, 8 from over in the east hand. Good on you, east, playing from 8-7, high-low. Might help your partner knowing the count. And in south we play, obviously, our stiff ace of diamonds. And our play strategy. Well, nothing's happening on the club suit there. No excitement there. We have 5-5 with the top 4 honors. Normally you want to play a top honor on the side that has 2 honors in case we need to rough the other way, but with the top 4 and them only having 3, no problems there. In diamonds, we're not going to be able to promote the north hand, so no reason to go ahead and play that suit out. Hearts, we've got 5 points. King doubleton opposite, unfortunately, mirrored values, queen doubleton, so that 5 points only gets us 1 trick. And in spades, our promising suit, ace, queen, jack, 9, 7 spot, unfortunately opposite a deuce. But we have 6 cards in the suit. That means the opponents have 7. It means 62% of the time, about 2/3, they are 4-3. If they have an odd number of cards, they normally break evenly. So in this situation, we're going to want to promote that spade suit. We can play our ace of spades, rough 3 rounds of spades, and then hopefully promote our last spade. Now, if it falls king doubleton earlier on or king 3 times earlier on, with the person who has 3 is 3 to the king, fine. In fact, how often would that happen? Would it be most likely king 3 or king 4? Right, it would most of the time be. But it is possible, so there are some other options that could help us on this hand also. So, okay, let's go ahead and start the play of the hand. We'll play a ace of clubs, and oh, it's 3-0, so that gives a lot of vacant spaces for other cards over in the west hand since you have no clubs. They start with ace of diamonds, or king of diamonds as you'll recall. And 3 over in the east hand. Okay. So we can go ahead and play an ace of spades. They both follow. That's one round. Of their 7, they've used 2, 5 left. We play the queen to see if they'll cover over in the west hand. Smartly, they don't. We were going to rough it anyway. They could see the dummy, knew that that was our play strategy. Good. Tested their resolve. And it wasn't King Doubleton. We can see that. So that's 4 out of 7 have been played. All right. Fair enough. And we can go ahead and get back to our king in the south hand. We'll come back to that. Now, this declare thought that, geez, I got plenty of entries, so I can go up to the queen and the dummy later. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, won by the ace. Good for you over in the west hand. Aces were made to take kings, which you've done. Now, you could play that queen of diamonds over the jack, but because your partner played 8, unless it was 8 singleton, if it was 87, that means south is going to rough. So that's a little bit of a spooky suit to play. We don't want to promote their jack. So instead, I think also we know the fact is they didn't seem to pull trump. And so unless they've got 12 trump, they've got some other plans over in the south. And they're apparently wanting to rough the spades. That's what we can see from West's perspective. Anyway, we'll exit in a safe heart. So we'll play a heart to the queen. We're in the dummy hand. And okay, I guess you'll want to go ahead and either play trumps or diamonds, but you need to do some roughing on those spades. So I suppose you're going to play a diamond up to the 6. And we're now roughed it in the south hand. And we can go ahead and play a spade and rough that. Okay, they both followed. So indeed, they were 4-3. That's our third round. They each played. They played 6 to the 7. That means it's a king on either side. We're not really sure, and it probably doesn't matter that much anyway. Okay, so we're in the north hand. We can go ahead now and play a diamond and rough it. We'll play a spade, and we'll put the queen of clubs on it. Okay, now they've still got 2 clubs left, don't they? So at this point, we'll play the king of clubs. We can now play a diamond. We've got to rough it, don't we? So what happened? We went down. We have to play our spade, but they've got 1 trump left. Something went wrong with this hand. And that takes us to our second instance, part B of this hand. Okay, let's get back up on the horse and try it again. Same auction, same opening lead, and we'll take a look at a different line of play. Okay, so we lead that king of diamonds and goes around to our ace. We play the ace of clubs. We see that they show out that it's 3-0. We play our ace of spades. Everybody follows. We play the queen of spades and rough it. We're up to trick 4. Now, last time we played a low heart up to the king. This is the normal play, isn't it? If they cover with the ace, then our king has been promoted. In this case, it doesn't really matter. But as strange as it may seem, with all these honors in the south hand, we have a bit of a transportation problem. And we actually need to consider which of those hearts we play. Now, I know in these lessons we don't take a lot of time, except when it's critical. I stop at them, but when you're in the play of the hands, don't rush it in these slam contracts. Take a chance to enjoy the moment. You've got all these honors. Savor them. Play them carefully. Get every ounce, every pound of flesh that you can out of these cards. So on this situation, we're going to want to be sure that we can get back to the south hand and play some trump later, as strange as it may be. We got to use some trump in the north to do some roughing, right? We've got a couple more roughs that we need to do. So the winning play would be a queen of hearts. How about that? And going to our south hand and playing the 7, and whichever hand wants to play the ace, and they're going to, then we'll go ahead and be in much better shape. So let's see that. We play the queen, and they win it with the ace. So, okay, in a sense, we've unblocked with this big hand in the south. Follow us, though, and you'll see what happens. Okay, they're going to go ahead and exit in the heart again, which they do. We now go ahead and play another spade, and we rough it again, and that is 3-3, right? We were hoping for them to have 7. That's the requisite thing, and it would have been nice if it would have fallen with the king. It didn't, so one of them has the king of spades. It's not really important which did. Whoever has the 4th, that's the person who has the king. All right, so we're in the north hand, and we can go ahead and play the king. And the queen? No, we have to play a diamond back to our hand and get one final ruff, right? Good. Don't be so quick to pull those trump. Remember, we've got to use the full power of the ruffing with those 5 clubs in the north hand to ruff 3 of those spades. Okay, so we play a spade, we ruff it, and we ruffed with the queen. They can't over-ruff us with the 10, that's for sure. So if the person who had the king has also the 10, not a problem, but if it's on the other side, we know that our trump is outstanding and high. Now, if you played a high club earlier, you got spooked. Well, it isn't there now, so you have to know sometimes when to save that top club honor. Okay, so at this point, we can go ahead and play a diamond and ruff it. They've got 1 club left. Remember, they were 3-0. And we'll play our top club. And this time, we have an entry to the south hand. Last time, we had to use trump, and unfortunately, we weren't able to set up our spade suit. This time, the 5th spade is good, and we have made our slam contract. Well done. Okay, let's take a look at some more variations. We're just hardly getting started. Okay, off to our next iteration of play. Same bidding, same cards, different play, and we get midway through the hand for the declare. That was the lead of the king of diamonds to the ace. And you recall we played a club up to the king. All right, we go ahead and play a spade up to the ace, just a little different way of playing the same cards. And once we've won the ace, we can go ahead and play the queen. You recall that we ruffed it rather than playing a ruffing finesse. And we could play one more round of trump if we wanted. There's no real advantage of that in this case since it was shown to be 3-0. But if that feels good to get them down to 1, maybe you can remember the count easier to know that they just have 1 because you have other thing else going in the hand. It will be okay in this situation as long as you don't continue. You got to stop now because you have to do 2 ruffs, right? Right. Okay. By the way, if the person who has the ace of hearts then comes back in a club, things aren't going to be so good. So you see some problems with this line of play already? Okay. So after we win that with the club, we go ahead and play a spade. They both follow. They have 1 left. That's 3 rounds now. Okay. And now at this point, we're going to go ahead and play diamond. And how about a diamond up to our ruff? Now it's time to play another ruff in the north hand. That's the last. And I don't know if you can kind of start to see what the problem is, but we're going to run out of trump at some point. It all depends on the lay of the cards by the opponents. We're throwing things up in the wind, and we're hoping for the best. And we go ahead and play a diamond. We rough it out. We play our ace. We play our jack of spades, which has now been promoted. Now we've got king doubleton of hearts opposite queen doubleton. We play 1. We can see that they win it, but they just have a heart left. Well, what if they didn't have a heart left? What if it turned out like this? Okay, so here's another iteration of the play of the cards. Once again, the king of diamonds wins to our ace. We play a club up to the queen. We're going to play the king of clubs for that second round. Remember, it's not necessarily the best bet since we have to have them 4-3 in spades anyway. This time, though, we can see that West, where they get squeezed each time, they're not discarding the diamond suit. Remember the last time we got a little bit lucky where we let them in on the last 2. If they happen to have an ace of hearts and a diamond, not so good. This time they're saving the diamonds over in the west hand. They can see that there's a doubleton in the dummy, and they're just keeping parity with the dummy with a jack 10. Nice play over there by West. I like it. Okay, so play strategy now. We've won the king of clubs in the north hand, and now we'll go ahead and play a low club up to our jack, getting the last trump out. It gives 2 more trump in the north hand. We can play a heart up to the queen. Remember, we don't want to play the king on the south hand. We want to leave that as an entry. Okay, we did. That's the correct play. They win with the ace. They come back in a heart. We win it with the king. We play our ace of spades. But this time, because they saved the diamond suit, the only winning line of play is to play for a ruffing finesse. to play our queen of spades and let it ride. Now, that presents a 50% chance versus before. Remember, the 4-3 was a 62% chance. So this is not really the best line of play after all, is it? Okay, we play the queen of spades. If we were to ruff it, we're going to lose. We need to just let it ride it this time because the way we played the hand out, because West is hanging on to their diamonds. Okay, at 1, now we can go ahead and play a low or high. It doesn't matter. We're going to ruff it. Come back to our hand by ruffing a diamond with a club. We play another spade, and they have to play the king. It was 4-3, 4 by the West hand. They cover it, we ruff it, we come back to our hand, and our jack of spades is good. Remember, we want to be sure we promote that last spade and have an entry to that hand. So that works. Okay, let's try something else.